Developer Q&A review time! So, a couple days later here, been a busy couple days here over in my side of the world. But on Friday, November 1st, the developers bravely went into the community to do a Q&A session. I'm glad that these guys went into the battlefield despite all the Malik controversies lately, and they did open up on some things here. So today we're going to talk about their discussion on the Darth Sidious Separatist tag, Mandalorian show, First Order love, more key characters, some new player mechanics, some repeats of some previous Q&As that I'll bring up in case you didn't watch the previous videos or the previous Q&As, and a little YouTuber versus Capital Games alleged showdown. Woo! So let's talk about the fun stuff before we talk about Malik and drama and stuff like that. I want to get the more essential news out for you guys. Darth Sidious, we've had a lot of Clone Wars love over the past couple months here, and people were kind of expecting one, Asajj would get a rework, kind of fit with the Separatists. Didn't happen. I still think maybe it's going to happen sometime down the road, as well as Darth Sidious. Darth Sidious obviously is a mastermind behind the Clone Wars. He kind of led the Separatists and he led the Galactic Republic into battle against themselves. So aren't we getting a Separatist tag for Sidious just like how Django got one? And I think they kind of answered this kind of appropriately. They didn't say no, it's not going to happen. It's that it's difficult because, as I said, he's the mastermind behind both sides of the battlefield. And unlike Django, who was explicitly working with the Separatists kind of overtly the whole entire time, Sidious was kind of crossing lines throughout the whole entire time. So it's kind of, I guess, different to try to split his kit into Separatist and Galactic Republic. So I guess as of now, it's just going to stay a Sith tag, but they never said it's not going to happen sometime down the road. I thought it would always be cool to have Sidious have both Separatist and Galactic Republic synergy. It would be kind of one of the more interesting characters that kind of balance between two very opposing factions. I don't know, maybe you guys got some ideas to drop down below. I think it is something possible that we can do, but obviously the version we see of Darth Sidious, that is very much the evil version. We don't have a Chancellor Palpatine, who is definitely much more overtly a Galactic Republic leader of some sort. Next question is about the Mandalorian TV show. Now, a couple questions I've been getting a lot lately is First Order getting love, Resistance getting love, Mandalorian getting love. I mean, I can guess just as much as the average person. I don't have any extra benefits of communicating to Capital Games compared to the normal person, so my guess is as good as yours. And they kind of answered this question a little bit. Is the Mandalorian going to be getting new characters anytime soon? I think the show looks pretty fantastic. If you haven't seen the trailers already, it looks like it's going to be a pretty neat show to watch. I like Jon Favreau. I like my boy Pascal. He played amazing in the Narcos TV show, so I'm really looking forward to it. But it looks like at the moment there's no plans of bringing in Mandalorian content, but maybe next year sometime. Probably what Capital Games is doing, in my opinion, is they're just going to sit back, relax, and kind of see how successful is the Mandalorian, because one thing they got to do is, all right, we're going to capitalize on very big content that kind of resonates well within the community. It might be kind of like how the Resistance TV show, we didn't get any sort of characters because that TV show kind of flopped. But there's a good chance the Mandalorian might do well, and if Capital Games sees, all right, there's a lot of fans that love this, maybe we can get a lot of new audience members to join our game. Let's push out some Mandalorian content. If you guys notice, I've shown this before, when Knights of the Old Republic was getting a big push of content in Galaxy Spheres, we saw a huge number of new players come to the game because KOTOR is a very big area of content. It has a lot of fans that have not yet played Galaxy Spheres. So I think it's more of a, let's see if we can capitalize on the success of the Mandalorian. So hopefully that show does perform well, because I am looking forward to it, and I'd like new people to come to the game, and I'd like some new Mandalorian characters to come to the game. KOTOR, I just said the word KOTOR a second ago and gave you a brief history lesson. Is there going to be more Knights of the Old Republic content coming to Galaxy Spheres? I know they had probably one of the biggest periods of love, spanning from what, February 2018 all the way until, goodness, April 2019 or something like that. So it was a long period of Knights of the Old Republic of fandom, basically. And they're saying right here that they would like to come back to this era at some point. Malgus as well as Mitra. Some people want to see something better happen to what's her face, Visa Smar. And but they said there's no plans, no confirmed KOTOR content within the next 7 months. So they will come back. For those who love Knights of the Old Republic, I definitely understand why there's a big group of people for it. But they are planning on coming back at some point, but nothing within the next 7 months. There definitely is a lot of Knights of the Old Republic content that could be added to this game. But I think for right now, they got a lot of love, and they have some of the most dominating content in the game. I think they need to go back to the sequel stuff, the original trilogy, and maybe a couple more a prequel type of stuff before we come back to Knights of the Old Republic. But I definitely would like to see that come back at some point myself. So the other day we speculated about First Order and Resistance stuff. I mean, it wasn't really much of speculation, because in previous Q&A posts they said that, yeah, The next thing we're going to be working on after the Clone Wars era is going to be First Order Resistance, episode 7, 8, 9. And again, they come out here in case, I'm just repeating this in case you didn't see previous videos or posts, that yes, we will be seeing more First Order content in the coming months. We talked extensively about maybe Praetorian Guards, Knights of Ren, some more love for the First Order to become a bit more competitive, maybe new legendaries of some sort. They said sometime down the road that we're also going to get more marquees sometime this year. They actually went into a deep conversation of why we got a little marquees this year and a lot of marquees last year. Actually, let's talk about that right now, I suppose. I guess this is actually a great question to answer right now because yeah, I see this a lot. I say this sometimes too. Last year we got a lot of new characters. This year we've only got I don't know if I can even fit that many characters on my hands in terms of marquees. What we got Droidica, B1, we'll just say Shakti and Geo Brew, they're marquee characters. I mean, they weren't really, but you could buy the packs for them. Really not many. Maybe 4 or 5 characters. Maybe I'm missing one. Wat Tambor and Kiadi, those are all different types of characters. So yeah, we really didn't get a lot of new characters this year, but apparently they don't go off a list and say, oh, we had this many marquee characters, we need this many marquee characters this year so we could match last year. They're not going that way. They're kind of saying, what do we need in the game right now? They're kind of following the beats of the content in the game at the moment. We haven't really seen too many plug and play characters. I mean, Wat Tambor is probably the only plug and play character we got this year. And someone's asked, are we going to get more characters like Thrawn, Nest, Hermit Yoda, Wampa? I'd add Wat Tambor. The Wat Tambor is a fantastic plug and play character. Are we going to get more of those type of characters? And they do have plans to release more plug and play characters, and we could see them over the coming year. So that's 12 months. Who knows when that's going to happen? It's a very general response. Usually, I mean, even by accident, some characters just become plug and play. Like, I think Nest was not really designed to, I don't think their intention was her to be a plug and play character. It just kind of happened. I'm sure we're bound to see something, whether intentionally or unintentionally, a character becomes a bit plug and play. Jedi Knight Anakin's kind of a plug and play character if you kind of think about it. He works in a variety of lineups. Yes, he works better than in some teams than others, but really his kit's design, his rework was designed so it can work with a variety of types of compositions. Heck, he's working with Night Sister still. One of the annoying things about Relics is that Relics takes up your Cantina energy farm, a really big pain in the butt, especially for beginner players or mid-game players where you gotta still farm characters, but at the same time you want to power up certain key characters. They're left in the most difficult predicament, whereas myself, I don't have to worry about that trade-off because I have pretty much every single Cantina character farm. By and large, a lot of people have been asking, is there any way we're going to get a new energy just for Relics, kind of like we have our own energy for mods? There's no plans to do this, but they are planning on cranking up the amount of Relic materials they give on daily challenges, maybe as well as, who knows, maybe raid, more stuff in the raids, maybe Geonosis territory battles. Now, I swear we talk about Sandbox with every Q&A post, and I'm only going to reiterate it because I know some people don't watch every single video I've made, and some people don't see these posts. Sandbox mode, being able to test out your roster in the comfort outside of Arena and Grand Arena so you can test, kind of see if something works, maybe do a pre-battle before you hop into Grand Arena, something of that sort. And for a long time, for those who don't know the history, this idea has been turned down consistently, and I think they confirmed it last Q&A or the one before that they are starting to work on a sandbox mode. And here again, just so you see the confirmation, someone brought up the question, sandbox mode, can we get it? And it is going to happen. Not maybe, it might not pertain to this actual question that the guy gave out here, but it is going to be happening at some sort. And that has been something I know I've been advocating for a very, very long time, is being able to test your roster outside of Arena. Because myself, it's part of my thing I do on YouTube. I got a Tesla. I spend $20 to $40 every month just kind of testing things out, using Arena crystals for that. So it would be nice to have more of a comforting area where you could set a defense, set an offense, and kind of battle yourselves, or have an inner guild sandbox mode where you can battle other guild members kind of in a more comfortable fashion. And last thing, in terms of new upcoming content, this one's actually happening very, very soon, happening in the next title update. I'm guessing probably sometime this month with the release of Lightside Geonosis territory battle. If I had to guess, not confirmed, but people have been asking, I've been asking, is there going to be a way to help new players catch up fast? Because one of the problems is there's a lot of end game guild members or mid game guild members that are dropping, and it's kind of hard to find new recruits that are kind of able to keep up with the guild. And they've been saying they're going to try to implement features kind of like Marvel Strike Force, where there's legendary characters that are very easy to acquire. Maybe they drop the requirements a bit, and they're there all the time. They kind of hinted towards something of that sort. So there's 2 new features coming very soon, and I think one of them they did say that it's going to be maybe a legendary that's kind of reoccurring. It's always going to be there, so you don't have to wait 1, 2, 3 months before a legendary reoccurs. So I don't know what the second thing is going to be, but hopefully maybe it's dropping the requirements. Instead of having a 5-star Palpatine or Yoda unlock, it's a 3-star Palpatine or Yoda unlock perhaps. All right, and now we talk about the drama I don't think it's really drama. I think it may be misinterpreted answers, bad responses, bad way of writing responses on the developer's part. We're going to talk about a couple of these things right here. Let's talk about probably the stuff you guys care more about, and that is regards to the Malik fiasco. And I will be honest, it kind of seems like they are downplaying this a lot, downplaying the significance of how bad the bug was. It was a big oopsie, and kind of downplaying why not give everyone the same amount of rewards, and also downplaying why not change the game a bit so 5-star characters are a bit more viable. They seem to completely ignore those questions. That's kind of my criticism of these points here, as we're going to see. I'm not going to read this whole response word by word. This is kind of a cut and paste from their what they're going to do to kind of reconcile the first time this whole issue got bugged. But I think they kind of missed the point still about why not just give everyone the same amount of rewards that would have compensated those that had no context of what was going on. The people who did have context, it'd make them feel a little bit better with the getting the Zeta and the extra guild event token currency. So I think this response definitely kind of missed the mark a little bit, and it kind of didn't really get to the heart of the concern for a lot of people, because again, whatever happened with this Malik bug, the people that did not do the bug, whether knowingly, unknowingly, and those who just kind of want to honor Capital Games' wishes to not engage with this bug, they got screwed over the most. This big post I'm showing here doesn't really kind of answer the question why you're rewarding people who are exploiting bugs, because to be honest, I can't tell you in good conscience anymore going forward, if another Malik-like bug happened, to not use it. I'm just going to kind of sit back and tell you guys, you know, just use it, because you're going to get screwed over more if you don't use the bug. You get rewarded more if you did use the bug in the end. I'd hate to kind of have that position here, because but unfortunately, this is the incentives that Capital Games is kind of getting, is that hoard harder, as we'll talk about in a second here, as well as use bugs when they happen, because you're going to get a nice little leg up for kind of making their life a bit more difficult, which is kind of the brainwaves they're sending us to us right now. Now, after this whole General Skywalker release, as well as just the guild event token farm for things like the Kenobi's Negotiator, the soon-to-be Malevolence, Malik, as well as General Skywalker, I've been on this position and platform telling you guys my best advice is just to keep hoarding that currency until you can get the character, because 5-star characters are not useful. You can't use them in the upcoming light side territory battles. You won't be able to use them in any sort of major raids unless you're tier 5 or below. And the power difference between Gear 11 as well as Relic 7 characters, there's a huge gap between them. I've advocated that if you're going to keep these 5-star farms, have it in a way where you can still use 6-dot mods on these 5-star Gear 11 characters, or at least change it where now we're at Gear 12 5 stars and you're stopped there before you get the Gear 13, because when this Gear 11 gate was implemented so you couldn't get the Gear 12, the game was fundamentally different a couple years ago, and I think this would have been the perfect time to revise that stance and let people use more of their end game stuff. Fine, don't let people go to 5 stars Gear 13 Relic 7, but 5 stars Gear 12 plus with 6-dot mods, I think was the way to go. And unfortunately, they actually talked about the hoarding problem that I kind of addressed here, and I'll read that in a second, but the first thing I want to show you is that epic confrontation characters are going to keep happening. They have no plans on changing 5-star character unlocks. They're not considering that change whatsoever to make epic confrontation 5-star or 7-star unlocks. And furthermore, CG Top Hat said that there's no epic confrontations scheduled at the moment, so I'm guessing no epic confrontations for the upcoming not the Last Jedi, the Rise of Skywalker, but they're going to likely come back to that format in the future. So because of this right here, I'm going to have to stay on my platform, and if you want to try to make sure you use a 7-star character from an epic confrontation right away, you just got to hoard your currency. Hoard until you can unlock the character at 7 stars, and between that, do not use your currency whatsoever. And this hoarding conversation actually comes to this post because the question came out, why is this game designed around hoarding? And I think that the devs really got this wrong. Their game is, and their actions are giving us different incentives than what they're intending to, because they even said this is a backwards way to think of it. I mean, but the problem is your game is encouraging that, because let me show you right here, just a quick example. In my personal arena, we got one guy who was able to hoard his currency and got General Skywalker to 7 stars, Relic 7 right away. Props to them. Props to them that they were able to do it. But the thing is, this guy just sits at the very top, like top 5 all day long, because he has exclusivity over everybody else in my arena chart. He's one of the 200-300 people in the world who has a 7-star General Skywalker. So especially at this end game state, you kind of want something good like that. So going forward, I know the developers think it's stupid, it's a backwards way of thinking of it, but you got to hoard your currency, because my 5-star General Skywalker is basically useless in this game right now for the reasons I've stated earlier, and I want something more like this where you can have the 7-star variant right away. Again, I think it's a bit unfortunate, this whole situation. They could have done something instead of, they're being very stubborn on this issue. Fine, keep the 5-star characters, whatever, but I think they should definitely move it to where it's 5-star Gear 12 Plus with your 6-stop mods. But they seem very stubborn. They don't want to seem to move. They don't want to budge on that at all. They seem very defensive on this issue as well as the Malik fiasco issue. Last two things I want to talk about here: senior producer as well as some YouTuber stuff. YouTubers are dramatic, let me tell you. I actually criticized this the other day. Where's the senior producer? We haven't heard anything. We're not even a welcome from the person himself, Mark Dickinson. And they say right here that with Carrie, she was a bit, very much so, more community interacting than Mark Dickinson. I think in one day, Carrie is more interactive than Mark Dickinson has been in the past 3 or 4 months. He's been working on this game. He is still very much alive. They say he's very involved in the team. They trust the team's capability of communicating without him needing to communicate. So if you're someone that wanted to see a senior producer be more engaged with their game, it's probably not gonna happen, bud. So the other day, I got spammed a lot. I got tagged a lot saying, man, Capital Games really trying to stick it to you YouTubers. You guys just complain. You guys aren't important to them. And they're talking about this right here. Do you watch the YouTube videos from the communities? Are you aware of the growing sentiments they're expressing on behalf of the community? And do these types of community input factor into any of your design decisions? And they do watch our videos. I know they watch our videos. That's why I like to poke fun at them sometimes. And their sentiments largely mirror those in the community and don't fundamentally add much to the conversation beyond what we see in Reddit and the forums. We look for the concerns of the community, not any specific personalities. Yeah, maybe it's not written the best way, but I know a lot of people took this the wrong way, as if they don't care about us. I don't think that's the point they're trying to get at. This actually makes me know that I'm doing my job appropriately here on YouTube. And I know you guys may have seen things like Cubsfanhan's tweet where a lot of people took this very personally, because a lot of people see us as a hub to make sure their opinion gets heard. Like I usually, echo kind of. I agree with a lot of the opinions of the community when I make a video. It's kind of hard to ignore it when you get 60, 70, 80, 90, 100,000 views on a video. The developers see that. You kind of already see my response here is that at the end of the day, fine, I don't care that they like me as a person or a YouTuber. I don't care about that. All I care about is that they see the message that I'm trying to get across. And if they're saying that when I'm trying to amplify this message, if they're saying that my video replicates the concerns of the public and they see that, that's all that really matters to me. I don't think my opinion's better than the average person. I think every single person's opinion is as equal as mine. Yeah, I have a lot of viewers. I am very important in terms of making sure that opinions get heard in this community. But I don't think that means my opinion or what I say is more important than what you guys say. I think all of us have equal standing. So yeah, that post that they responded to was a bit, I don't know, poorly worded, but I got what they're saying, that they're not going to give someone like me more weight just because I have 120,000 subscribers here on the channel. They're going to give you just as equal as a weight as me. I think that's actually a great way of looking at the situation. And for me, at the end of the day, just knowing that they see my videos and that my videos kind of echo that what the community is feeling right now, I think that's, I'm kind of happy to hear that. Knowing that what I'm saying is kind of aligned with what you guys are thinking right now and letting them know, making sure that they are aware of these issues, that makes me feel good. Because at the end of the day, I want this game to get better. I want this game to improve. I know CG as a studio, they have a lot to work on. They acknowledge in this Q&A post that they've kind of missed the ball lately in terms of new features and new content, as well as making sure there's quality assurance going on. They admitted themselves there's problems going on. I'm still a fan of this game at the end of the day, and I want this game to continue to improve going forward, and I want all of our opinions to be here. If the game is just about my opinion, I mean, maybe it wouldn't be that bad of a place at the end of the day, but all of us have a very important input on this game, because I want to see this game, and you guys too probably want to see this game last for many, many years down the road. So I don't think there's any YouTuber drama going on in that Q&A post. Long story short, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. Like if you did enjoy the video, comment down below. Be sure to subscribe so you're not missing a thing. And I'll see all you love people in the next video. Peace out.